To go, yeah. So do you remember when you first encountered Intact software?
Yeah, myself and Andy, we were down in Key Street, and we were doing everything manually, and we met Aidan and Paul. They were working from the Fane, upstairs in the Fane. I think it was around about 1989. So lots happened since then, and I think we were one of the early customers of Intact.
Do you know why? Do you give a reason as to why you're still using Intact today?
Well, it's very quick response, and we feel it's a common sense use. You know, our business is very quick and moving, and a quick response and common sense approach is much easier. You know.
And have you felt that your business has changed with the product since you brought it in, since you brought in the software? Has it changed much or grown much?
Oh, completely. It's completely changed with everything from emails to scanning, EDA, all that sort of thing. So it's all progressed, you know.
Just be careful with this one then. This is how would you describe the people that you've dealt with in Intact?
Oh, very good. They're all very, very good. We know them as the fun and dog, and myself and Andy know them probably personally, you know, and we find them very, very good. No problem.
And it's a big enough one. If someone called you today who wasn't using Intact software and said, "Why should I?"
Well, it's, as I said before, it's quick response and common sense thinking.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Yeah. Wow.
So we've had our 25th anniversary event this morning. The first 25 customers are still with Intact.
Yeah.
What does that say for the company? The first 25%.
Yeah, I think it's been a very special morning. I think to see so many old faces, some of them still in business, some of them retired, but all coming back with the same stories. Hearing about back in the early days, we're all guilty of a little bit of emotion on a morning like that, but hard to know what to do on your 25th year in business. And I think to take back and to realise that many of the first 25 customers still with us probably says something about us too, I hope.
And it makes a stand for the first 25 years and a bit of pressure in the next 25 years to keep it going. So what would you expect out of Intact in the next 25 years?
I suppose if we look back like 25 years ago, not even just over 5 years ago is when the iPad came out. So we've moved into a total different generational space where people are mobile, people are dealing online, but the requirements of the business software is still the same, still the core accounts, the debits and credits, all the old boring stuff. How we do that, we have to do it a little bit differently and a little bit smarter on that. So I suppose the pressure over the next 25 years is to continue doing what we're doing. If you stand still in this business, you die. So you either grow or die. They're the two alternatives. I think our attitudes towards innovation is something that you can't introduce into an organisation. It has to be engendered. It has to be in the middle of what everybody thinks and what everybody says. That's what makes us so solid and reliable. And for anybody thinking of going with an Intact software package can look at customers who are using it for 20 odd years. We've continued to service their needs. We see it's something people should only change maybe once or twice in the whole of their business lives. And that's what you get with Intact, a system that stays with you for life.
10 out of 10. That last sentence there is
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
No bother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so 25 years. No, you're good. You're coming up next, so. Yeah. 25 years anniversary today, and your first 25 customers here are still customers today. What does that mean to you as a company or as an owner of a company?
Well, it's brilliant to look back the fact that these guys trusted us at the start, because that's a big decision for them. So, and I think it proves that we kind of the trust wasn't misplaced. So they gave us a chance when it was easier to pick a big corporate brand to look after the business, and they gave us that chance. And I like to think we've learned from them, and they've valued from having us as part of the business. So it's great just to reflect on that, because normally we don't get a chance. Normally it's always the next week or the next thing that we're looking at. So it's good to look back, you know.
Fair to say that you've built up a very strong relationship with your customers, and you've almost grown with your customers.
Well, customers for us are more important than just a revenue stream. I mean, a lot of businesses think about their customers as how much revenue or turnover they get out of them. I mean, for us it's more important, because for us to build the next product, we need our customers telling us where their problems are, where their pains are, where their business are going in the future. We need to learn from them, because we don't have a business like they have. We sell into businesses that don't. They have trade counters. They buy containers from China and sell them. They they sell online. We don't do any of those things, so we need to understand how their businesses work from them. So it's very important that it's a two-way relationship.
So 25 years on, you've had this event. Another 25 years from now, where do you see yourselves, and what's the...
So I'll be in my mid-50s or something like that. I think as long as the ethos that we've had for the last 25 years continues, I mean, I can see obviously Justin carrying that on. As our core values will stay at the centre of that, and making sure that we innovate all the time and do the same things like talking to our customers. I think that'll see us well into the next 25 years.
Perfect, 10 out of 10, that's it.
Yeah, okay, thanks very much. Fucking starving. Starving.
So you had your first 25 customers here celebrating the 25th anniversary. What does it say for the company? Still have your first 25 customers after 25 years.
Yeah, this morning was something to be very proud of. It was great to see so many of the olden faces that I would have dealt with personally myself in implementing the software. I think it's good, it's unique to sit back sometime and, you know, take a breath, to talk to people that used the software 20, 25 years ago who are still using the software, and above all, it was good for the staff as well. It's another morale morning for the staff. It was wonderful and very well organised.
What would you put your key success down to?
Oh, that's very, very simple. To the people that's around us. Myself and Aidan might have started the business, but it's not about us anymore. It's about the team. It's all a team effort. And you know, when you see somebody like Stephen Kenny here this morning, I have an affiliation to people who manage people to do a specific job, and I'm proud to have been there at the start, but more proud to have built a team around us, and that team keeps expanding and will expand outside of Ireland over the years to come.
Yes, so 25 years on, 25 years to go to the 50 mark, so what would you expect of Intact's after?
Well, as I said earlier, we're only 25 years of age, okay? Some of the personnel involved might be a bit older, as in myself, but Intact is 25 years old. We're like a young man going out to explore the world. I'd expect that Intact will evolve into different countries, into different continents, and I'm not too sure what my role will be in all of that, but as I said, it's all about the team.
That's you.
Okay, thanks.
So when do you remember you first encountered Intact software?
We've been with Intact as long as I can remember. I started with the company in '99, and we had already been on the DOS system for a good few years at that stage. So we moved from the original DOS system through to we're currently working on the V-Line system at the minute.
Have you seen your company change much since they brought in Intact, or has it grown, or even since they brought in V-Line?
Yeah, well, we originally just used to run the ledger section of it, the very basic model, but now we're up and we run the stock control, order processing, pretty much every asset of it we're using. Oh, it's been a revolution for our company. It's amazing.
Can you briefly tell me a few words, people that you've dealt with within Intact, some experiences, or granted I'm still in the room here today.
I know, yeah. Well, when we started off, it was Paul Murray and Aidan Allis were the two that set up the system with us. At that stage, Justin was in technical support and hardware, I believe. So I've dealt with Justin from he started in the company pretty much. He's around the same age as me. So we had them, and we had Robbie, and we've dealt with everyone through the whole year.
And if someone called you up who's not using any Intact products and said to you, why should I use Intact? What would be your response?
We have I'd say I have recommended Intact to 3 or 4 of your current customers just over the years that just said, what system are you using? I said, this is what we use, and it works every time, never breaks down, never sits down. So you probably have 3 or 4 customers because of our recommendations.
And with this product, you said it's changed, it's been a big revolution for your company. Why do you see it? Why do you see that you're still using it today and will continue to use it in your future?
Well, it's just bulletproof. it never sits down. We never have any, like we very rarely contact support, even though it is there, we very rarely have had to use it. So it's just an indispensable part of our system.
Quick and easy.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So when was the first time you heard about Intact software?
I would be family. My name would be Brendan Marmion. Sean Lawless would be my brother-in-law, and he spoke about his son starting off a brilliant business called Intact, and maybe 2 years down the line, I needed something in our shop to improve our business, and I was introduced to Intact, which at this stage of our lives now, it's brilliant. It's improved our business, and there's no writing books. It's all done on keyboard now, so which is great for our business.
And what has been the biggest change in your company since you brought in?
Going forward to improve the business, and Intact was a great asset to our business.
You've probably obviously dealt with a lot of people within Intact over the years. Could you describe these people or your experiences with these people? Have they been good, bad, different?
Yeah, well, we got updated this year with a brand new system from Intact, and you really can't compare the old system and the new system. And the people that you ring will call us back. I have to say the service is there, but you need service to improve your business. That's the only way that you can do it is Intact to have the proper people on the phone that you can talk to, and maybe, if not, I can ring my family, which is part of Intact.
If they're lucky side of it.
Oh yeah.
It's the last question, okay? So if someone called you up and was thinking about purchasing Intact products, what would you say to them? What would be your response?
I'd say, well, we need to improve. If there's any improvement to be done, we want to be on the panel of improvement. And as I said there a while ago, Intact is back with a lovely family of nice people, brother-in-laws, cousins. So I can't go wrong. And it was great to be able to support them and them starting out when we were maybe in the 25, which was really great, Now, who pays me?
Have I got one?
So can you remember back when you first engaged or first found out about Intact software?
Well, I first installed Intact software, I think it was 92. At the time I would have been working as a financial accountant and would have used it for several of my clients. So to answer the question, 92.
And could you give a reason as to why you're still using Intact software today?
It's an excellent product, very feature rich. The cost value relationship is perfect. We know it. It's intuitive, it's simple. Great reporting facilities.
Have you seen much of a change in your business since you've implemented Intact software, or have you seen much of a change in processes?
Yes, we've probably actually changed some of our processes because of the facilities that we have found in Intact, and well, basically the control and reporting is much better now. Much better.
And could you briefly tell me about the people that you've engaged with within Intact software? Now, granted, some of them are here today, so be careful what you say.
Well, at this stage, I've probably engaged with a lot of people who work here in Intact, from Tim in sales to Brian and Robbie in support, who've been on site with us on a couple of occasions, through with Marie, and of course I know Paul and Aidan since they started the business.
And if someone calls you up, this is the final question.
Thank you.
Home run. If someone calls you up and said, didn't have an Intact product and said, listen, I'm thinking about getting Intact, what would you tell them?
Well, it's the only thing I recommend. I've discussed it with several competitors, you know, a lot of our customers actually use Intact so that they can integrate with us, use our advice, use our stocks, you know, our stock lists, our stock codes. I'm at this stage, haven't looked at anything else and can probably recommend nothing else.
That's you, 100%. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot.
It's nerve-wracking. I'm not meant for taking.
No, you'll have to. I can't hear you.
Do you remember when you first encountered Intact, or when you first found Intact?
When I first found Intact back, I only started business in 1990, and I had trouble with stock control. And Aidan Lawless, one of the founders of the company, approached me and asked me would I be interested. And first thing I looked at was money, and I said, come down and have a chat anyway. So he used his persuasive powers anyway to, he showed me how it worked, and I said, yeah, that sort of fits the bill for me, so yeah, super.
Tell us why you're still using it today.
Why am I still using it today? Well, I'm still using it today because it's a fabulous product, number one. I sort of know it inside out by this stage. It ticks all the boxes for me. I probably don't get as much use of it as some of the companies get out of it, but still in all, it's excellent for me.
Has your business changed with the use of Intact? Is your process different?
Yes, I suppose it has changed because I find that I'm able to analyse sales more and find out where, you know, I'm possibly losing money and where I'm focused on the ones that I'm making money. I think Intact's very good for that it points you in the right direction. But it's all about getting the right information out of it. You know, you can get a load of information, but it's getting the right information that suits your company. And Intact does that for me, you know.
Could you now be easy with this one? Could you describe the people that you've dealt with in Intact? What's been your relationship with them? Describe it.
Will I name and shame? No, seriously, I haven't had any really problems with Intact over the years. So the amount of times that I've been involved with problems has been practically nil. And I've had any, Justin looked after me in the early stages, and of course Aidan. And really other than that, I haven't had a problem, so it's not an issue with me. So, you know.
If someone called you and said, why should I do business with Intact software? What's your response?
Well, I would say the product is excellent, and it speaks for itself. And I think anyone who wants to grow their business, or anyone who wants to keep a close eye on their business, it's a fabulous product. Simple as that. There you go. I didn't correct the sound wise because.
And what I would have come back with Paul when he was an accountant down in Paul Mary's at the time, you know. So now what do I?
Well, that's just to retell that story. When was the first time you heard about Intact? Just if you can try and say back at that line there.
Yeah, just.
When's the first time you heard about Intact? Your first engagement with Intact?
First time I heard about Intact was with Paul Mary. Myself and Paul goes back a long time, and we've had Intact going back to '92. Previous to '92, we had a software system called Tom's, and we had that in, I think, for 4 years previous to that. And Paul convinced me to move up and ramp it up a little to Intact, and we've had Intact since, and we'd be very, very pleased with it.
And can you see why you're still using it today? I mean, it's what, since '92 you've been using it. Can you give a reason as to why you're still using it now in 2017?
Well, I think the backup support and any changes that we need made, any bit of tweaking that we need on the program is usually met fairly prompt with the staff down here in Dundalk. And I think, you know, from a backup point of view, I know from our own business, most businesses are built up on after service and after sales. And I think we get what we give ourselves as a customer. So I think it's good business.
Has your business changed over the years with the implementation of any Intact products?
Yes, we did an upgrade there 2 years ago, and our business has, in terms of management accounts, getting figures more prompt, able to run better reports on the system. We can really drill down to any particular part of the business that we need a report on, and we can achieve that.
And I know you said you've dealt with a lot of people in Intact. Now they're still here today, so careful with this question. But could you describe these people? Could you describe your experiences with them and what it's been like to deal with people within Intact?
Right, well, I know Paul, as I said, for going back a long time. We have Aidan as well, which is an extremely sharp man at the helm. Mark McCardle, I know Mark quite well, and very helpful. Anything I think that you really need to know. David, as well, is a very good guy. I think most of the staff that we had up in the office in the last, 10, 15, 20 years have been all very helpful. I have to say that.
One last question for you. This is a big one. This is a testimonial for us. So, if someone who wasn't using an Intact product called you up and said, "Why should I be using Intact?" what would your response be?
Why would I be using Intact? Well, I think it gives us everything we need for the business. It gives us everything that we require. We have all our reports that we need, so I don't see any reason why we would need to move to an alternative system. I think we have the complete package with Intact.
And 25 years from now, the 50-year anniversary, you'll still be here, yeah?
Hopefully. Thumbs up.
That's fair.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Absolutely
I don't know how that went, but
Yeah, no. So for red light syndrome, you see, I used to play guitar, and so I used to when recording in the studio. So you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's the part. Next of all, red light syndrome, light up, we can't play anymore. Yeah, that's it. Same as the camera. But for me today is really about having all our people here, all our team here today, talking to our customers. It's actually the two most important part of our business: our people and the people that we serve, who are always a source of innovation and inspiration for us as a company. And as a technology company, we have to be on top of our game, but also be on top of everybody else's game and make sure that we're leading the pack, delivering bleeding edge technology to our customers and to our partners as well, of course.
So obviously, after the 25 years today, a big milestone. Will this be one you'll definitely remember? Or?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we always think about listening to the past and looking towards the future. And milestones like this give us an opportunity to reflect on how important our team has been and how important the things we've learned over the last 25 years. I guess we have those scars and those trophies as well that we look towards and think about how we're going to achieve those things going forward and how we're going to be better and better and better. So we're always thinking about, 25 years is great, but what's going to happen for the next 25 years?
And obviously, you're having your first 25 customers here on their 25th anniversary is a big thing. It's a statement in itself for the product.
It's a huge thing. I mean, I guess we've never given our customers a reason to leave us or to doubt us. We've always listened to them very, very intently, and it's one of our core values is to listen to our people and to our customers, and that's when great things happen. And we really felt that having our first 25 customers here, when you look back 25 years ago and remember doing some of those implementations myself and dealing with some of these people that I haven't seen in many years as well, which is testimony to the team that we have, that I don't always have to talk to our customers every single day, that they feel that the stuff that they've believed in from the guys at the very, very start is present in all our people as well. So it's really, really good. So to see some of the faces from way back in the day is really gets bring a bit of joy to the place.
And it's from speaking to a lot of the customers, a lot of them said that they've grown with Intact. So with Intact remained very personal, even dealing with people in staff and the company, dealing with people in the companies. It's been great to see it grow together.
Well, look, I always had the belief that if you're not growing, that you're shrinking. So you really need to be thinking about what's happening, what the future is, and to have a growth mindset, to encourage all our people to step outside their comfort zone, and because that's where the magic happens, that's where great things happen. It's easy to sit there and do the same thing you've always done, but we always question ourselves and says, are we doing this because we've always done it, or are we doing this because it's the right thing to do? And we always have the customer at the center of that thought process, and we always have a customer in the room when we're talking about things like that. So growth for us is all about enabling our customers to do amazing things,
and that's what we try to achieve, and that's what we aspire to do.
25th year anniversary this year, so 25 years down the line, we hit the 50 mark. What do you expect from Intact in the next 25 years?
I expect us to still be pouring out amazing technology, helping businesses grow. I see us as doing it on a much bigger scale. I really want to build more teams across the UK, across North America, continue to do things in Australia, New Zealand, and in the Mediterranean as well. So as far as I see, the world is our oyster, and why stop here? We're really stepping up onto the platform for international growth.
10 out of 10. Get the breakfast bab into you.
Is that everybody, yeah? Is that everybody?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There's plenty of seating room up the front. So there's one thing you probably should know is that you never get to come to visit Intact without having to be forced to sit through a presentation. So I'm going to keep this very, very brief, but it's an important milestone. And I want to say thanks very much to all our customers and partners and friends who've shown up today. It certainly means a lot to us all here. So of course, this is our 25th anniversary. I was going to say it's been a long time coming. We talked about doing this celebration for our 20th, then our 21st, and yeah, eventually we said we'll definitely nail it for our 25th. So I just want to talk very briefly about the timeline, about the history, and I guess about the future a little bit as well. And then I'm going to hand you over to the men of the hour, Aidan and Paul. So birthdays and anniversaries are always good times for reflection. And just want to spend 2 minutes maybe talking about Intact and how it was from the start. So back in 1992, we were listening to Nirvana, Bodyguard, and our favourite Billy Ray Cyrus. So that's what the music. Well, that was certainly my favourite, Andy. Certainly my favourite. We were watching Wayne's World, another favourite of mine. I wasn't allowed to watch Basic Instinct back in those days, so wasn't allowed. And of course, this guy, one of our favourites. Technology, look, we're having some technology issues at the moment, but when you're in a technology company, you always have to make sure your slides work. That's one of the things. So technology looked a little like this, and of course like this. And for some of our customers in the audience, this is what Intact looked like. Yay!
It still looks like that for him.
Yeah, it still looks like that for him. Yeah. Okay, well, Annie, will you visit the sales department before you leave? Will you please? Okay, so that's what Intact the product looked like. But to be fair, this is really what Intact was actually about. These two guys back in the day. Doogie Howser on the left here, and Bill Gates on the left. So obviously that was back in 1992. But throughout the years, there's something that Aidan and Paul, I guess, have instilled in us as a company, and it's been a few things like this: a strong work ethic, customer care and beyond. Although I shouldn't probably put that up when all the customers here, so they might go, it's just, I wouldn't say beyond now. Innovation is something that's been really, really important, and I'll touch on that a little bit later on for a company like ours. Foresight and dedication to build IQ. So IQ, for some of the people who are still on our DOS product, is 2 generations later, so it's the most modern application that we have at the moment. Of course, we still have V-line and X-line coming shortly. That's a trade secret at the moment. But for me, most of all, it was people focused, and I just want to share this very brief story with you all as I guess for me joining the company back in, I don't know, 1995, or officially joined it back in 1995. I did get dragged into it a few hours in 1992. So for me, it's always been people focused, and I guess the biggest memory for me is my first week in Intact officially. I was handed a white Opel Combo van. 1996, I think, was the registration, and I thought I was a great fella driving around in my wee van. And my first visit to a customer site was over in Navan, and on the way back, I was driving around a road over by Tara, and I met this guy. So this is my pretty much first day at the job, and this guy ran over the front of the van. So I can imagine a business with Aidan and Paul in it at the time, and I'm sitting over there, and I had one of those Nokia phones, and I'm going, holy shit! How am I going to ring Paul and Aidan and tell them I'm just after pretty much writing off their van with this thing? Now, by the way, it wasn't my fault. He drove over the front of me. He didn't see me. So if there's my insurance people aren't here. Yeah, so he drove over the front of me. So of course I got out of the car, and I had a shouting match with the driver of this yoke, and he just ignored me, jumped back into his yoke, and drove off, and I couldn't really catch him. So I'm sitting there, standing there terrified. Shit, Paul, fuck, I'm gonna have to ring him now and tell him, listen, you know that nice shiny van? We probably have only just signed the lease papers on it. Well, we need to get a new one. So I made the phone call, and Paul was there with Aidan, and I told him the story, and he said, well, look, are you all right? And I said, yes, that's fine. So just get yourself back to here, and we'll sort the rest out. It's only a car. So for me, it's always been about people focus, and hopefully that stayed for the last 25 years. So anyway, I want to say thanks to Aidan and Paul for their attitude towards people and business. So what else? Startup culture was a very, very important thing for us going, because as a technology company, we have to keep innovating and keeping refreshed, and that was always instilled in us from the very beginning, that we need to think and act like a startup. Despite the fact that we now have almost 130 people, we still treat ourselves as a startup business, and the fact that we're 25 years old, it's still an important thing for our business to keep growing. Obviously, as a company who supplies software and technology to people in the building supply chain, back in 2008, right up to 2012 and 13, keep everyone employed was a really, really important thing. And I'm glad to say that we pretty much did keep everybody employed. I think back in the day we were about 30, 35 people, and since then we've now grown to over 100, well, yeah, 130 people. So I can't remember now what's next. Oh yeah, belief in the team, of course. We wouldn't be here today without all the wonderful people that have joined the team over the years, and hopefully they're going to keep us going for the next 25 years. So, talking about the next 25 years, what's the future? And this is something that's been instilled into us as a company for the last 25 years. This is a famous photograph taken in 2005 of the Papal Conclave. Back in 2005. And for any of the sharp-sighted people down here, you'll see that bottom right-hand corner, sorry, that box is in the way, but bottom right-hand corner here, we have what we call an early adopter. And for those who can't see it, it's somebody with a flip phone taking a photograph of the Papal Conclave. Now, I want to get the point across about how important it is for a company like ours to stay ahead of the curve and always be innovating. And considering that we compete with Microsoft and SAP and Sage, these companies have massive cash in the bank. For us to win out against all these massive companies is really, really important. So it's always important that we think about technology and to effectively safeguard all our customers as well, so they don't have to go shopping to other people looking for different products. So that was 2005. This is 2013. So in those short years, even though there's a big recession in the middle of that, that's how technology has affected all our lives and how important it is for us to stay ahead of the game. And I certainly look forward to the next 25 years. So finally, I just want to say, I want to thank Aidan and Paul for entrusting me with the leadership of the company for the last 4 years and hopefully for the next 25 years. I want to thank Paul obviously has a plan up his sleeve. So I also want to thank all the team. I want to say a special thanks to Emma Duffy and her team for putting all this together, especially Aaron as well, who've done a fantastic job of getting all this stuff together. And of course, I want to say thank you to all our customers, because these guys rock, and without our customers and our partners, we wouldn't have any business. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to just play a very short video, and then I'm going to hand you over to Aidan and Paul, and they're going to do some sort of interpretive dance. I think that's the plan. So hopefully now that this technology won't fail us, and this will actually play. When I press play. Great.
Intact software, as in all good things, started with an idea.
Thanks very much.
In 1992, co-founders Paul and Aidan came together with a simple but unique vision. A vision to provide your business with software custom built for your needs and designed to help your company operate at its best. With the small team, Paul and Aidan worked tirelessly to set the foundations for their business for years to come.
I'll just leave it in here.
The team set about building a unique product, but also establishing strong ethos and core values that will come to make Intact Software a company with heart and soul. In 1999, the Intact Beeline product was launched. With this, Intact expanded their customer base significantly, both in Ireland and the UK, adding 5 channel partners to the group and expanding the Intact family to 19. Then, in the middle of the biggest recession of the last 80 years, Intact took the bold, decisive move to invest heavily in research and development, leading to the most customizable, extensive product they could imagine, resulting in the creation of Intact IQ. Intact IQ launched in 2010 with a 100-plus user multi-location customer site, revolutionising the very meaning of flexible software, all to ensure our customers could readily adapt to change today, tomorrow, and far into the future. To this very day, Intact Software still works with the same ethos and core values that Paul and Aidan founded 25 years ago. Intact Software can look back at the work done before with pride, but we know that we still have hard work ahead. The journey has only begun. Join us.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time out this morning to attend the function. Following Justin, as you can imagine, with his slides and banter is very, very difficult. But that's why we choose him as the CEO of the company. I suppose we'll go back to the beginning, and September 92, myself and Aidan started off basically with nothing. No customers, no money and no cents. But I made my way to the TSB Bank, and I don't think Des is here, Des Dunleavy. And I said to him, Des, I'm starting a business with Aidan Lawless. What is it about, he asked, told him. And I says, I'm looking for an overdraft of £2,000, basically to pay our own wages. So Des looked at me and he says, you know, Paul, he says, being the proud Donegal man he is, he says, Donegal's playing Dublin in the All-Ireland final on Sunday week. And he says, if you got 2 tickets, he says, for that final, he says, that'll go a long way towards the overdraft. So I jumped in the car and I went out to my father, and he was chairman of the St. Bride's football club at the time. And I said to him, Dad, I need 2 tickets for Sunday week. And lo and behold, Sunday morning, he arrived at the house with the 2 tickets. And I stood outside the TSB Bank on the Monday morning from 9:30 till 10 o'clock. I thought the start at 9:30, but it was 10. And into Des, and I says, Des, there's your 2 tickets. And he says, Paul, there's your $2,000. And off we went. We started to build a team. And one of the first employee was Aidan's brother Barry, followed closely by Aidan's brother Justin, followed closely by Paul's sister Anne, and so forth. And you can see that the team was beginning the build of a family business. Then the likes of Mark and Marie joined the team, and I always remember going to James Neary in Dublin, a company called TechPro, and I sold him the system. I demonstrated it, I sold it, and then I went up to install it, and he took me aside and he says, Paul, did you ever hear tell of an employee? He says, that's people you employ to do other work so you can go. He says, you're not God, so employ somebody. So we did. And we were lucky enough then over the years to have milestones such as the Millennium, where the media had people crazy about Millennium bugs and so forth. And then above all, the introduction of the Euro, which meant that people had to look at their computer systems, and it gave us an opportunity, and we worked closely with the government agency at the time responsible. And then in 2005 we expanded, and we've signed our first UK partner, which was a huge milestone for us, having to go across the water into the UK. And then in 2008, another milestone, I suppose one that we don't want to remember, was the recession. And you know, it affected us as a team. It was difficult. We lost customers because they lost their business. People got hard to pay, but we worked with them. But above all, and again I mentioned the team, we're after putting together a great team, and we took a conscious decision that, well, instead of a few people suffering who we could have let go, we decided that we'd all suffer a little. So we took reduction in salaries, but mainly to hold on to the team, which to me was a great achievement. And we moved forward to, I suppose, 2012, and we had 28 in 2008 at the start of the recession, and by the end of 2012 we had 40 employees. So we got through it through hard work. Going back to the start, I suppose the one thing I have to say is that there's two members of the team, in my eyes, that don't get a lot of recognition, and that's Ursula and Anne, who stood with us from day one. We were up and down the country, and I know Aidan could be 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning tapping away on the keyboard, but the girls were always there. We had young families, and we had unending support, and continue to have that support from them today. For the future, well, again, I go back to the team, and you know, I'm a great person, great admirer of Stephen Kenny and what he's done for Dundalk. Great to see you here today, Stephen. I was saying to him earlier, the first game we sponsored with Dundalk Football Club was November. I will never forget it, because, and I'm not too sure, it was 97 or 98. Stephen was just starting off his managerial experience with Longford, I think it was. But we sponsored on a Tuesday evening in the middle of November, Dundalk versus Kilkenny City in the League Cup. And it cost us 100 punts, and there was about 80 people at the game, and I think it ended 0-0, but I remember coming home and I was frozen. So we've been with the club from that long, as well as other clubs like the GAA, basketball, and in more recent years with the local American football team. The future, well, people would say to me, you must be proud, and I'd say, yeah, I am very proud. And I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud that I was there from day one to put together the team that we have today. And it's when you come into work in the morning, it's inspirational to work with some of the great people that work in this company, and we continue to expand that great team. And the future, well, as the fella says, we're only 25, we're only young fellas. The world's out there, and we plan to capture it. Okay, thank you.
Oh, it's a bit like coordinating outfits. We just had a chat about the speeches before we started. I think we're all going to say the same things. So, like Paul, I just want to thank everybody coming this morning, and especially those people who have been with us from the start. It's just an amazing thing to look back Like for us, as the type of business we are, to not only survive but thrive against global corporations like Sage and Microsoft and Oracle and SAP, some of the brands you might know, that takes a mix of some special ingredients. I think for me, there's probably three key ones. The first of those, the guys have mentioned the team already. I mean, we're so blessed to have met some exceptional and talented people over the years, and for them to take a look at us and go, you know what, this is something I want to be involved in, and to give us probably the best years of their professional careers and be part of the team. Every single one of them has added something to our organisation. I think when we moved here, one of the things we wanted to do was extract what it meant to be a person who worked for Intact, and we pulled out these kind of core values from those people. You see them on the back of the glass pane out there. They're what we think makes up somebody who wants to come work for Intact. Sorry, they're here as well. Thanks. And while every day we might have little squabbles about things, about how to solve a problem or how to deal with a particular customer issue, ultimately we all believe in the same thing, and the big stuff is something we all agree on, which is very important to us. You know. I think it's amazing to come to work with these people every day. I don't get a chance to probably say that enough, so it's good for an event like this to say it in front of everybody here. It's an astounding team we have, and you especially feel it when we're trying to go through this little kind of growth spurt at the moment, which is we're trying to expand the team out. And when you go to recruitment agencies and try and get people like the people in this room, it's incredibly difficult. So when we look back, we're even more thankful for engaging with these people at the time and for them to want to be part of this team. I think the second thing then really, and just equally important, is our customers and the relationship we have with our customers. We'll be eternally grateful for those who trusted us, as opposed to taking the easy decision of going with a Sage or a Microsoft. You know the old expression, nobody gets sacked for buying IBM. That applies in our world too. Nobody gets sacked for buying Microsoft or buying SAP. So for those people who trusted us, invited us into their business, taught us about their business, told us the pains they had, and give us a chance to solve them, that's been absolutely immeasurably valuable to us over the years. And it's part of the core thing we do. You'll see on the wall outside it says special things happen when we listen to our customers, our partners, and each other. And that's very important to us because we don't have a trade counter, we don't sell online, we don't buy container loads of stuff from China, we don't have a warehouse. So it's important for us to engage with our customers and for them to tell us where they're paying and where the problems are and allow us to solve them. That's been incredibly valuable to us. I should have had a slide deck so I could remember all the things I was going to say. So I just want to say thanks to our customers for being involved in that. It's really important to us. The final thing is, in that mix, is the desire to innovate. I mean, the lads have touched on this already a couple of times, but that's absolutely key to us. If you take the first two pieces of that and add the third thing, it's a really potent mix. And that's always been part of our theme here, that we try to innovate. Today's pretty special because we don't obviously take too often to sit back and look back. We're normally maybe listening to the past but looking forward. I suppose that's one way to look at it. But from Monday, we'll be thinking about year 26, year 27, year 28, year 29, and so on and so forth. And that's because I think you can be on the right track, but if you're not going fast enough, somebody's still going to go past you. So we need to keep thinking about the next thing all along. Seeing as we see Stephen here today, and thanks for coming down. It's something I heard at your interview after winning the trophy at the weekend, and I think you touched on something that really struck home with me, which is that it's great to win this trophy today, and we'll enjoy the moment, but the next game is the important thing, and that's something that really resonated with me because that's a kind of attitude that we've always had. So it's a bit. Again, Paul said it too. You know, people say it to me today. Well, you must be really proud, but the overriding feeling with us always is, I'm more excited about the next thing. What's the next thing down the line? What does the next year look like? What's the next challenge? That's an interesting thing, you know. So innovation is really important to us, and that's what hopefully the next 25 years will look like. When that comes around, I think I'll be in my late 50s. So Justin might have to. So Justin might have to take over from that. But listen, thanks for everybody. I hope you enjoyed this morning, and hope everybody enjoys the few hours tomorrow with the kids and family around here. It's been a pleasure to be part of this team for 25 years. Thanks a million.